Holy Moses, 23 skidoo. It's bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, 2 strikes, 2 outs. It's a scorch out there, and the Brooklyn Dodgers win the series. Hey, what's going on? Everybody, welcome to another episode of Beachtown. I am Bob. It's June 15th. You don't have to wear the masks anymore in California, and that's where we are. We are Jesse Egan and Bob. I am one of those guys. We are breathing easy. Jesse, what's going on, my man?
Not much. It's amazing what a difference in audio that makes once you take all those masks off. It's I think that hopefully the listeners will be putting masks over their ears before they turn this podcast on to get the full effect.
Which is recommended by the CDC. You need at least 2 to 3 masks over your ears for when yes. But don't do that while you're listening.
It's exciting, right? Things are opening back up. This is a big day in history. COVID's gone in part of the world.
Not. I haven't gone anywhere yet either. It doesn't make a damn difference to me. Like, I'm glad everything's. We can officially ignore the rule we were ignoring. Oh, all right. Well, that's great.
I was wearing a mask. You were wearing a mask, and
I was well maxed up. Yeah.
I mean, even in your own home, you were wearing multiple masks.
Several times, yeah. I was wearing them in the car. I was wearing them in the shower. I was wearing them in the sleep. I was masking all up.
It is weird the people that wear them in their own car, right? That's an odd one. Like, that's, I guess you don't infect yourself through your own bad air conditioning.
Yeah, I've seen that. I don't understand that one. I didn't see that in Queens, New York during the height of the pandemic. I called it on every sidewalk had what I called the Corona car wash. That's when you called it Corona. That's how long ago this was. Remember, it had another name once. No one even talks about that anymore. The Corona car wash for me would always be like 2 old Italian guys on a corner. They're on each side of the sidewalk with a mask around the chin, yelling at each other as everyone walks through them. And that would just be from all angles. It's just spraying the slobber. And as they're complaining about the inconvenience of having to wear the cloth under their chin, it's just walking through this big saliva slip and slide.
Saliva slip and slide. Nice.
Yeah, I thought of that now. Look at me go.
That was the original name for SeaWorld. So I'm sure people tuned in for us to chat about masks because no one's sick of that. Yeah. But that's not what our podcast is about today. And I'm so happy that we could be here with you for our 3rd episode of Beachtown Podcast. Bob Hansen, Jesse Egan. And we are here to go through our G.R.A.P.E.S for the week, which is an acronym that stands for Gentle with Self, Relaxation, Accomplishment, Pleasure, Exercise, and Social. And those components, how many is that? 5, 6? What is it, Bob? 6? And that is a little way to hopefully happiness. And quick disclaimer, Bob and I are not professionals. We don't know anything about anything. So please, if comic books, G.I. Joe stuff, we can probably piece it together. Mental health, we're doing our best. But this is a little advice that we've received that has helped us. And so we are passing it on to any listeners that are willing to give it a shot.
That is correct. The only mental health podcast that actually cheers you up. That's the tagline. How many times do you go on YouTube and you hear, "Hey, let's bring you down" in a really sad NPR voice, and 7 signs that you're really sad, and then they say 7 sad. Well, you already knew that. You don't need a lady with a sad NPR voice to tell you, "Hey, here's a cartoon of somebody frowning a lot. Does this look like you? Well, and you're really sad." Well, no shit, lady. We don't need that. We don't do that here in Beachtown. If we had boots, we would find the straps connected to the boots and pull. I hate that expression, by the way.
I do too.
But it's really the worst. It means nothing. It's the biggest garbage.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
But we are 2 dudes who are trying and letting other people know that you are not the only one who's trying, no matter how much you may see the flexing and the great lives on the social media applications that the kids are into. Although I might break them out. I might break them out. And I still actually screw it. Why the hell not? Old man still got some.
Oh, who's
Old
flexing
man.
now?
Old man still got
social
some.
meds.
All right. There you go. All right.
What have you been feeding those anacondas?
Jesus, man, been doing more dips than a potato chip factory. Okay, all right.
Well, we know which letter of grapes Bob always excels in, so we're not going to jump ahead. But listen, let's get right into it, Bob. It's time for grapes.
Yeah. Nice.
Thank you. Some good variety.
Let me see. Now, I usually I follow your lead on this. These a bit better than I, but let me see if my memory serves me once or twice.
Okay.
If I didn't take too many chairs to the head in my early 20s and various other endeavors. I believe the first one is gentle with oneself. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, one of us should say something.
Okay. Well, that is correct. How did you do on that this week? We have to compliment ourselves and say something nice. I'll tell you what I came up with, because I can never do it spontaneously. I have to think of it for this podcast. And gentle with self is to say something encouraging to yourself to make you feel better, or say something positive. And I would say this: I can apologize, Bob. I am able as a man when I'm wrong or sorry for something that's happened, because sometimes you're not wrong, but you still need to apologize. And when that happens, I do it. And I've been given advice from other men. I don't know why I just air quoted that. I have been given other advice to say, never apologize. You never apologize. And I know that's the extra super alpha confident thing. But I think it doesn't work in real life. And I think when you're wrong, you have to fess up to it, own up, take responsibility. Or if you just want to heal a situation, sometimes, I don't think over apologizing, always saying I'm sorry, and kowtowing and to people is good. I wouldn't do that. But I'm just saying I think it would be a positive trait to be able to apologize and to take responsibility when you're wrong.
That's a great trait. That one. That's a good one. That is a
Last
great
week
one.
It was littering, so I think I've gotten a little bit. I don't litter. I think I'm.
But if you littered, in the event you littered, you'd be so sorry.
I'd apologize. I'd be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. It just the balloon flew away." That's how I would litter. I'm like, something joyous.
I need to apologize to the viewers for the occasional sweat rag that I'm going to use during this.
Oh my god!
When you record audio in the summer and I live by the freeway, so you got to close all the windows. Yeah. And I got this light that thankfully you pressured me into buying, but that's okay. No,
it's
but
not
it works
hot,
out.
Though, right? Those things aren't hot. They don't make.
It's not hot at all, but I think it just look how crappy the viewers this looks without the light. Look at that, looks like shit, right?
Yeah, that's why I pressured him, folks. I pressured him to get a ring light.
Yeah,
looks way better. And I also told him I want you to just light this side of your head. So that was the pressure.
Yeah,
so
it can't.
One side of the dome fully blazing.
My laptop would break because I have hinge problems if I put the light on so I have the light on something else, so it's as close as it can get without being on my actual. Yeah, that's the best I can do. I'm basically I have to record Zoom things as though I'm being interrogated, or I'm in a documentary talking about a quiet guy who eventually killed everyone, and that's how I have to do my lighting forever. Apologizing is a great quality. I'm glad you nailed that one. I'm a self-aware guy. I think I am. I hope I am. I think I'm a very self-aware guy. Like when I'm wallowing too much, when I've definitely wallowed, I think I'm pretty good at going, all right, you've done your wallowing. You have wallowed the appropriate amount of time. Stop wallowing now. Or if I'm in a conversation, I think I'm pretty good at, if I've been talking too long or whatever, or if I just weirded out the room, I think I'm pretty good at noticing when I just weirded out the room. Like, oh, that was the line.
Sometimes it was that was the goal, right? Was to weird out the room.
Right.
So if not always, of course, but that's a good quality to be self-aware, because especially in our thing in stand-up, a lot of comics I would say are not so self-aware, maybe, and maybe don't take the feedback from the audience that is given. or blame the audience for things. But in your,
Sure.
I think that's a good quality to say. I'm
Yeah.
aware when when I'm weirding people out or going on
Yes.
for too long. Yeah.
Exactly. If you've seen me, for those who've seen me do stand up, there's a lot of explosions up top, and once in a while there's occasions where it's like, okay, it's 7:30 on a weekday. You could have held that back. That was a lot. That was a lot of energy up top, and they
Uh-huh.
weren't quite. And then you hold it back, but not just for stand up. I like to think when I'm in a social situations, how many times you've been in a party and somebody corners you, and you're meeting for the first time, they tell you their life story, and you find yourself going, does this person have any idea how they're holding people prisoner during a
Mhm.
social gathering? There's
Mhm.
like 10 of us, 6 of us, 8 of us here, and 7 of us have corona, and
You're
this person.
certainly not the most extroverted person that would like hold someone captive, right? Like to
Yeah, I'm
keep
pretty
them.
good.
You're not the
Yeah,
long goodbye guy either. The guy that's like, I got to say goodbye to everybody in the room 15 times at
right,
length. By the
which never
time you've said
works.
goodbye to everyone, now you're starting to say your second goodbyes.
Right.
That's not you, and that's a nice trait too. Do you practice the Irish goodbye? Uh,
Uh,
is that
Good
that's what they
question.
call it, right? That's what you just slide.
Can we
That's
say that anymore? Is that cultural appropriation to
I
say
think
Irish
half of me
goodbye?
is allowed to say it still.
Okay.
I don't know
Oh,
how that works.
a half of me can say it, maybe only because I'm half lit up with my ring light. So only half of me says anything.
You look good, Bob. It's
Thank you so much.
dark side of the moon.
Right.
I think that that's a good quality, man. Being self-aware is definitely a very good quality, and also being sort of sensitive in social situations to not hold people
Yes.
captive. I guess that's another thing about like what you don't enjoy. You don't practice it, right?
Right. I think that's important. And also the person who I'm trying to keep stand-up comedy out of this, but the person who makes the joke of something bad like an assault on women or something like that, and it's like, well, okay, idiot, let's do some numbers here. I'm not going to argue your freedom to say it, your freedom of speech against you. I'm not going to argue that. I'm going to argue. Let's do a little bit of logic. If there's 1 in 4 women assaulted, and there's 40 people in this room, and 20 are women, that's 5 potential probable assaults. So that's 5 people out of 40. That's 1/8 of the audience. You just brought up a horrible memory during what was supposed to be a comedic performance. Those are shitty numbers, right?
It's really an assault on the ears at that point.
Yes, it's an assault on common sense, and at some point you have to go, hey, wait a minute, somebody might have experienced that. And
Yeah.
then just be aware, and then you own it from there, and we could. That's that. I mean, if we're talking just comedy, it's another argument for the day. I don't want to get into
No,
that,
but
but
it's
if nobody
true. And
wants to do
even
that.
like the certain words people select. I had a young comic the other day that had a bit where he's like, he said, quote unquote, raped and pillaged the buffet. And I was like, I don't know where this buffet is, but I think that's not what you do at the buffet. I just, there's
No,
other ways of saying but
yeah, like what
I
was
think,
really the point?
yeah, definitely. But so that, I
Uh,
think those are both pretty good G's for gentle with self. Now, what about R? We're talking relaxation, getting good amount of rest. This is one that you and I both struggle with for different reasons. But I think every week we talk about we're work on this one. How did it go for you this week?
Worse, just worse. It's now because I have trouble falling asleep because
How's the mattress? You got a decent mattress?
it's actually not bad. I was complaining about it when I had my Moderna thing because I was in the bed the whole day,
Right.
and that's when it sucks. But really, it doesn't really start bothering me until about 8 hours in anyway, which is when you should be getting up. So it's really not bad. The mattress itself is fine.
Okay.
I have to clear off the couch. I have too many things on the couch. I miss naps on the couch.
Are you? Let me ask you this, and this is personal stuff, but are you a side
Yeah.
sleeper? You sleep on your back, on your, what's? Because I personally, I sleep on my side, and if I'm not on my side, I feel like I can't breathe. I start being like, and then I panic and wake up. So like I
Oh,
end up,
geez.
rolling back and forth over. I get sick of this side, I go to this side, but I feel like it's a constant restless movement. I don't know how If you really, when you
Yeah.
really sleep, it's like, you ever fall asleep and you like wake up in the same position, like you got your clothes on and you're like
Yeah.
drooling and you're just like, oh, your arm is like messed up because it's been that's like sleeping hard. Like I haven't
Yeah.
slept like that in a while, you know.
That's extreme sleeping,
That is that is.
which I think would be, yeah, at this point, the sport we would both most excel at. Um, I'm really weird where I have a tossing and turning ritual, but ultimately I just sleep on my back. I'm essentially Dracula at this point.
You toss
That's
and turn
just
while sleeping on your back.
I just do this, and at midnight I wake up and fly around Linda Vista.
Nice. Well, I could see why you're not getting good sleep then.
Yeah, definitely. I just
But,
I won't even have mirrors in the house. I just don't show up in them anymore. I
so
went
it's
to
not it's not an improvement this week on the rest. Is
no,
there?
it's getting because I can't fall asleep and I can't wake up. I'm just doing bad at both of them. Like I try to go to sleep even when I'm tired. The lights are out, everything's good.
Mhm.
I hear the highway noise, but the highway noise doesn't bother me.
No.
It's almost soothing, like background, like ocean noise, except they're little.
Do you drink a lot of caffeine?
No, I don't, because thankfully, an ice cold, refreshing Diet Dr. Pepper doesn't have sugar or caffeine.
It's a word from a sponsor. No. Um, okay, so it's not the caffeine, it's not the
No, it's the
noise, it's
worry.
not the it's the
It's like
worry.
the job thing is a disaster, and
Yeah.
like money, and it's money's dripping away, and the bank, and I'm like, oh Jesus, this is getting a little uneasier as time goes on, and it's just like it's that.
It's the
That's
worry.
why I'm awake. It's not the discovering the 2002 He-Man show for free on YouTube and watching the extra episodes, which is so much fun. They made
You
another
don't?
one in the early 2000s. It's really delightful. I recommend that, and the original Filmation 80s one with Lou Scheimer as well.
Well, at
Um,
least if you're up, you're doing something for pleasure and enjoying yourself, right? And
yes,
watching some He-Man. But
I'm
yeah, I think,
enjoying
you
some
know,
He-Man.
I feel like this last week I slept a little better because I did the thing, I did earplugs and a nose thing and an
Really?
eye patch. You know, I'm like, I've got a complete silent dome thing going.
Yeah, you have a
Because I'm a
whole
really light
gimmick.
sleeper,
Yeah,
so it's like when it's bright in there. But really, what wakes me up every morning about 7 is one of the cats like jumping on you and wanting to
yeah.
have food. They don't, they say the cats sleep all the time, but I don't know when. I guess it's whenever I'm doing other things because it seems like they're up late and then they're up early in the morning, and it's like you never get a break from these hungry little rodents. But
They're cats are old people. Just like,
yeah,
how are you like up all the time?
they
Like,
have
I
to
don't
get up and
understand.
pee like 15 times in the middle of the night on
Yeah.
your head.
Then it's like
But
it's 3:30 a.m. Let's start the party. Yeah.
yeah, so I think that overall sleep's been pretty good, except for that, it's better to go to sleep early because I know I'm always going to be get woken up really early, every day by the cats. So it's kind of like that's the best you can do if you go to sleep at midnight or something, which I never do. How
Oh,
about
there you go.
accomplishment, Bob? I mean, I am struggling with this one. Especially when we're when we're not working all that much and we're trying to find our way in this world. It's like, gosh, accomplishment's a tough one when you're looking for that.
Well, I'm afraid of when I'm working again, like then what's the accomplishment? Because it's like, hey, what'd you accomplish? Hey, that thing I do from 8:30 to 5 all the time, did it again. And that doesn't the only accomplishment is it's just the bank account stays steady and maybe grows by 33 cents a week. No, I'd say for accomplishment, I had two job interviews last week. One of them emailed me within a few hours and said, no, never come back, lose the address.
The
Um,
email address?
yeah, which is really weird. I'm like, no, that because it was weird to have, but nice actually in a weird way to have physical job interviews again.
Oh, okay. This was okay.
They were both
Physical. Okay.
physical. I
Oh,
had
okay.
one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday last week. Um, so that was actually, I think, better for me anyway, because not just because I'm socializing and everything. I think it's better for job seekers
Yeah.
on a little bit of I guess, a different topic there, just because, like, okay, the Zoom ones are like, oh, great, I don't have to drive there, but you're in your room and they're in their office. You have no idea how you're being judged, and you can't, there's no tour of the place. You can't get their vibe. You can't watch other coworkers from a distance doing what they're doing, overhear them. Are they talking kindly? Are they laughing? Are they yelling at each other? Do they sound pissed off? Like these things that a job seeker likes to know, that the things you pick up when you physically go there, those are nice. And I don't think I would have liked them that much anyway. I mean, I probably would have been okay with them. So I was like, all right. But so now I'm back and forth on the phone with the other people I saw. So nothing's definitive yet. But
it's
to
still
get
an
the interviews
accomplishment.
was the accomplishment, yes.
Yeah. And I think, when you talk about work and doing something you don't like, I mean, that is an accomplishment in and of itself, that you're able to get up and do it, to even go to a job that you may not enjoy to try to pay the bills. I mean, that is an accomplishment,
Yeah.
at least I'm not
Got
sure
that one down.
doesn't make you happier necessarily, but I mean, being able to get up and take a shower and be prepared for that could be considered an accomplishment too, is like getting yourself together. And
Yeah, because it forces me to. I'm the kind of guy where I need to be, like we talked about last week. I need to be forced to get up. I have a phone interview tomorrow at 7:30 in the morning,
there you go.
which is good. And I guarantee you by 9:10, I'm going to be napping again. That's a reality. I'm well aware of this, but it'll get me up at least to start the day again, and then it'll force my brain to be awake and all that kind of stuff, and probably force me to go to bed a little earlier too. I really have to stop. I got my 4 down to like 132 ish, which doesn't sound very good, but that's 2 hours and change. That's a lot. It's like, okay, we're getting there. If we can get to the midnight area, I think I'll be all right. If we can get it down to there.
So we talked about the P one earlier, pleasure.
Well, wait, now hold on. What were you saying as far as accomplishments?
My God, yeah, that's right. I wanted to gloss over that.
Well, never mind then.
No, I did forget, but it's been lacking today. I wrote a little bit. I had a little bit of work writing some ads, and I wrote a little bit for this podcast, and I tried to work on a new bit. But other than that, I would say, I accomplished very little. But at least I wrote a little bit, so I guess that's something, right? I mean, for me, in at least in stand-up, having a new bit or just an idea for a new bit is really a big deal. It just really breathes life into the whole experience once again. Like after you do the same jokes long enough, you start to lose interest in them, and they don't get delivered necessarily with as much gusto as they did. And once you have one new bit that it can kind of put a lightning bolt into the rest of the set, where you're like, I have no problem, getting through this other material because I'm excited about this new idea. So I always feel like, even if I don't use it, just the idea that I'm thinking about it and working on it and trying to fit it into the act somewhere, that to me is a big thing. And I guess it is an accomplishment, coming up with a new joke premise or a new idea. Trying to write more about Anna and I, being in a relationship, being engaged, and get away from older material, so.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's the thing. Over times, like people change and the act has to change with that. Yeah. I would say the being excited about a new bit, to me, that's always been the difference between having to do a set and now wanting to do a set. Like I can't wait to get there. Instead of I can't wait to get up so I can get off and go home, then it's I can't wait to get up so I can try this.
Yeah.
And then go home because somebody is telling you their life story and said goodbye to you 8 times and you just want to leave.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's really all I've got. For pleasure,
yes,
that one's always our easiest one, right?
Easiest one.
Always easy to do something fun, to watch a show you like, to play a video game, to play with the G.I. Joes.
Rock out to some Maiden, just jam to the Trooper or Aces High, any of those for my Maiden heads out there.
I was jamming out. I know this is silly, but on Netflix they have Darkwing Duck, and as I was playing it, the opening intro song is so good that I couldn't get past it. I kept listening to it, and Anna and I started singing it, and then I sent you the clip of it. I sent it to you and Dave Wright because he's DW, and in the song it's going Darkwing Duck, He goes, when there's trouble, you call DW. Darkwing Duck. Let's get dangerous. Oh my God. The best theme song ever. I mean, outside of, DuckTales. Ooh.
Right. It's always, it has to have a duck in there.
As long as there's a duck involved. But man, what a hilarious premise of like a duck as Batman, basically. And then and like they have duck puns in there, like in Saint Canard Street or whatever. And it's like they do the little duck thing, and I'm like, I should have wrote for I could write for this friggin' show. Love it. That would my big pleasure moment. I think yesterday was stumbling on Darkwing Duck on I think on Netflix, and then watching that, and I just kept rewinding the intro. I was like, this intro is amazing.
Oh, you have to. You have to.
But the other thing was Anna and I went out to dinner at THC, the holding company here in OB. Of course, an Ocean Beach restaurant is called THC.
Oh, I get it. It's like a marijuana play. It's a play on words. It's for fun. It's just for fun. I understand.
Drugs. So we sat up on the front, on the top patio and had dinner, and it's got like a view of the ocean and the sunset, and it was wonderful. So that was probably
that sounds nice.
Most fun thing I've
Hey,
done.
wait a minute. Hold on. What the fuck is a holding company? What does that mean?
I think
they just made up words so they could say THC.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they hold. They're holding, man.
Yeah,
they're holding, bruh. Are you holding?
They're holding you there while you're waiting for your food.
Yeah, put you on hold. That's the most fun thing I did all since our last podcast.
That sounds pleasurable. Yeah,
it was full of pleasure.
I'm overdosing on He-Man cartoons.
Yeah.
I love. I definitely love the 83 to 85-ish, I think, original He-Man cartoons. Because there's always a powerful message at the end. Like He-Man looks straight at the camera and he says, "Today's episode was about friendship," and you're like, "Oh!" It's like He-Man became like a guy you don't want to disappoint. He's like, what if Mr. Rogers was just jacked? But Rogers never got pissed off. He just got jacked. And that's basically who He-Man is. He's just a jacked up Mr. Rogers, but he never gets pissed off.
That's amazing.
Which really, now that I talk out loud, that should be a show. It's just a beautiful day to blast my quads. Like, oh, all right.
Oh my God.
It's like, well, what if Bob Ross was painting and he flexed and like his bicep broke the shirt like Lou Ferrigno? Like that's who He-Man is. And I just like, I love this man. And a few times when I went to bed, I looked at my my He-Man figure. Oh, where is he? I'll get him. I looked at my He-Man guy here, and I just looked at him. And before I go to bed a few times, just to make myself laugh, I go, "Good night, He-Man. I love you." And then I put him down. Yeah, it's so silly, but it makes me laugh. And then I toss and turn for 90 minutes worrying about money.
Oh no, I do like to imagine He-Man as a really jacked up Mr. Rogers. So I think that's great. I mean, I loved Mr. Rogers, and the only way I would have loved him more is
if he was huge. Yeah. If he was like, "All right, boys and girls," he puts on a sweater, the sweater rips, he kicks the door down, and he says, "You have a wonderful day." And then he doesn't yell about it. He just does that because he's huge.
Yeah, he just gently takes out a sword. I have the power.
Wouldn't you like to have the? Wouldn't you like to have the power too?
Wouldn't you?
Having the power is nice.
Skeletor is an inconsiderate person. You should be considerate and not murder people like Skeletor.
Exactly.
Oh, that's a good one. I really love that one. What about exercise, Bob? I know that's you always win on that one, buddy.
Yeah, clanging and banging. Now I'm trying to change my slowly, and I'm trying to tell myself, okay, you don't need to kill yourself on your workouts anymore. Like, knock it off. You're not wrestling again. Like, it's over. Stop it. You're working out plenty. For the average American, you're doing fine. 4 days a week, I do my weights. And 1 day a week, I do my yoga. That's 5 days. And on all of those days, all 7, including my off days, all 7, I have a good anywhere from 20 to 40 minute walk.
That's great.
I'm moving. So I'm always moving. A lot of
I
the
was
walks.
gonna tell you, like, you probably don't have to keep practicing suplexes every night.
Yeah, yeah. We don't
all
need the
those,
chops. We don't
all
need
the
them.
DDTs and the body
What are
slam.
we doing? Yeah. Who is this for? Even lifting the weights, there are a lot of times where I'm going, what are you doing for this? Is this, like the supermarket, like they kill your food for you. You don't have to
Yeah, you
do
still got to
this.
carry it out. So
Yeah, that's, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
the one my mom always says is like, the squats. She was like, always make sure that your lower body's strong. She's got this big thing about like getting old and not being able to like get up out of your chair, and like seeing old people like struggle with that is like one of my mom's things. Like
Ah,
she always focuses like, don't sit too long, and make sure you can get up.
yeah.
So that's I
Well, she's
so I'm
not
sitting
wrong.
right now. No,
She's
she's
not
right.
wrong. It is a little peculiar that she focused specifically on leg day. Um,
Nobody
but
does it.
yeah, I know she's right.
Yep.
Uh, I didn't see that coming.
No, there you
That's
go.
left field.
So my exercise is my mom.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
does leg day. No, I
I'm
took a walk.
intimidated by
I
your
took a
mom. You
walk
know
today.
that.
I know
I've met your
everyone
mom a
is.
few times. I'm very
That's
intimidated by her. I'm afraid of your mom.
she's, who would you compare her to in the
She.
wrestling world? Like, um,
Oh,
I
that's a
feel like,
tough one. But while I think of that, she kind of scolded me when I got my Bob tattoo. I don't want to stretch out my maiden shirt too much, but yeah, where it says Bob here, if you didn't know.
what
Yeah, and
did
I
she
was like,
say? Why
I
would you
don't.
do that?
Yes, I think that's exactly what she said. We were at a picnic bench, in OB, and
She doesn't hold her tongue. Like if she sees something that she thinks is weird, yeah, she'll just ask you straight up, like, why would you do that?
yeah,
And there's no good, like, you can't. How are you supposed to defend that? It's
I had nothing. Yeah, and
yeah,
she
it's
got
like,
me. Yeah,
yeah, well,
she stumped me. She'd be a great heckler because I'm like, I got nothing on you.
yeah,
You
no.
are just.
She is a good heckler.
I'm very intimidated by this whole situation.
Yeah, that's why I have no tattoos, because of
Yeah,
that fear
yeah.
of not being. I'm not good at crowd work to this day because of it. Uh, so yeah, my exercise. I took a walk today, and I walked around OB, and you know, it really is.
Smelled.
It was. Well, here's the best part. I actually was walking down the street with my earbuds in, and a friend of mine comes running down. Dave Callens, out of nowhere, is in OB, flags me down on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Hey, me and Ellen were having coffee or tea over here. You want to hang out? So I got to meet up with them, and that is my social too.
I saw what you were
So
doing.
that
I
was a little
saw it.
crossover. And it was really a lucky thing, and I'm glad that he did that. Hopefully, it's okay that I name drop that he, whatever.
Yeah,
But
I
I
could
love
care.
them both, and it was wonderful to see them. And we talked comedy for a couple hours or an hour, whatever it was, sitting there at the coffee shop, and it was terrific. So that's the part of comedy I think, love and kind of miss the most, is that camaraderie of getting together with other comics and talking about material and just talking shop. It's just really, really fun. And you miss some of that when you've been stuck in isolation for so long. So it was
Yeah.
terrific seeing them
Yeah, we
both.
lost a lot about that. How tall do you think Dave Callens is?
I think he's got to be 6'1".
Yeah, he's got a few on me. I'm like 5'11". He's got a couple. I just like to ask.
Yeah, no, I
I
know
like to
that's
check.
important.
Yeah.
It's a good. So your exercise, clanging and banging constantly. What about your social?
And
How
my
did that go?
social was a wacky one. I don't even know if it counts because it was virtual. But over the weekend, you were busy. You had a bunch of shows going on. You were all over the place.
I did.
You were driving Miss Jessie over there.
I
You
think
were
I
stopping.
drove for 10 hours on the weekend,
Jesus
total.
Christ.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was a lot of driving.
You were all over the place. So I needed to find some place to socialize with cheaply. So on Sunday morning, I had organized a three-way a video Skype call. I
Oh, I
think
was
all
going to say you
Skype.
organized a three-way. That's an amazing S for
Yeah,
social today.
you won't believe
You really
this.
saved this for the end.
I really waited.
It's
I'm like,
incredible.
oh my goodness.
And I've never
Uh,
heard it put that way. I organized a three-way.
you always have that one friend that takes charge of everything. Yeah. was
There's
like,
so
all
much
right.
bureaucracy.
They decide, what we're having for dinner. They decide what kind of pizza toppings you're going to have, what bar you're going to go to, who's coming to the three-way. Oh, someone's got to be in charge. No, I set up a Skype call between myself and two dudes, Mark and Chris. I know now you're gonna make fun of me. Uh, the two members of the Bob Squad, I call them.
Oh, the three-way.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. It's funny because it's gay, I guess. But no. So
No.
they now I'm confused. Yeah. So these two dudes that I met through various online, GI Joe and He-Man fan groups and toy groups kind of thing. Especially during the pandemic last year, a lot of us had nothing to do, but who else are you going to bullshit with? You're going to bullshit with people online because that's what you're doing all day. So you do that, and it's crazy because I think one of them is 9 hours ahead of me, the other one's 8 hours ahead of us. So Mark is in Ireland and Chris is in the Netherlands, and for like an hour and a half and change, something like that, it was just three dudes on a video call, just kind of bullshitting about G.I. Joe and He-Man and seeing what everybody's up to. And one of them, I'll do a video on it soon. Mark had actually sent me a care package from Ireland. I got mail from Ireland on Saturday. I was so excited to get international mail. I don't think I've gotten that before. And it's not an arm's reach, unfortunately. But he sent me a couple of Cadbury double-decker peanut and nougat chocolate bars from Ireland.
Wow.
And man, they know how to party with their sweets.
That sounds incredible.
Sweet, jeez, it was intense, but it was so good. And and just out of the kindness, I guess to say thanks for all the free content and time that I've helped him waste over the last several months with my wrestling podcast and whatnot. He gave me this a gorilla from Planet of the Apes action figure. Wow. Of one of the Planet of the Apes, the bad guys, the gorillas. The gorillas were the warriors. The chimpanzees, I believe, were the scientists, and the baboons were the politicians. I think, something like that. But anyway, but yeah, one of the guys with the purple vests and the bad guys from Planet of the Apes, and a Soundwave figure similar to the one I gave you a while back.
Wow.
He gave me a smaller one from a different line. There's 400 Transformers lines, I couldn't tell you. And a nice little book about, someone wrote a book about the history of pro wrestling and then comparing it to different types of theater and stuff.
They just sent me this cool stuff?
Yeah, he sent me like a cool care package of just stuff.
What's his name? We got to give him a shout out.
Yeah, Mark Boba Hicks. He was in Ireland. He is in I don't want to say last names because I don't know if that's on his YouTube thing.
What a nice person. That is really sweet and considerate. Mark.
And Chris from the Netherlands, really cool. The other guy, he made this wonderful video on my toy collection for me a couple of weeks back. So just to BS with these two dudes about old wrestling and whatever, just dudes being dudes. Again, it's virtual. It's they're far away and everything else. You couldn't be more on the other side of the world. I actually moved farther away from them.
Connection though that you guys have made, and sharing that
Skype,
stuff, over the things that you really love, like that is just so special. I love that.
So cool. So I was so happy, and that would be because I didn't have a social thing ready, and it was just a coincidence. We were meaning to do that a few weeks back, and then I got my Moderna shot, and I was out of it, and I was making my videos and everything else. Things always get put off, but it was one of those things where I said, there's always going to be a reason to not do it.
Yeah.
So do it.
That's terrific.
So hopefully soon we'll do another one, and we'll probably even get another dude or two in there, and we'll.
Yeah, you should do it. Make it a regular thing. That's
just
awesome.
make it a thing. Yeah, I'm sweaty. So social went. So that was good, even though it wasn't eyeball to eyeball. It was really close, and you get to learn little things about other people's countries, like. Yeah. They didn't have a Toys R Us. Their toy store is called Smith's.
Okay.
I can't do anything with that information. None of us can, but I know that now. I'm like, when we grew up with KB Toys, and they grew up with a Smith's. Oh, so that's what they're talking about. And
I love that.
Little silly things like that. Doesn't mean anything.
I love listening to that too. It is like a window into the culture too. Like I listen to this Columbo podcast that's hosted by two Scottish fellas. And it's just so fun. And they're younger guys, so it's funny hearing their take on like an American show from like the 60s and 70s through their filter. And it always cracks me up because Columbo will do something just ridiculous. He's like, oh, these are panties, and they're like,
Yeah, the panty clip.
and
Yes, hilarious.
the,
Yes.
and the boys will be like, that was wildly inappropriate. And I'm like, I love these fucking guys.
Yes.
It's so great. It's like them commenting on. I tell Anna all the time, that's wildly inappropriate. That's my favorite. That's my favorite fucking
It's
thing.
so much fun.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Should we pay some bills before?
Yeah,
we're
gonna have to, whether you like it or not. Let's pay some bills.
Part of the show?
Are you a goose? Are you a swan, sir? Now here's a word from a sponsor.
Hi, friends. It's me, Jesse, from the Beachtown podcast. Nowadays, there's health insurance, life insurance, car insurance, renter's insurance, even pizza insurance. What's missing? That's right, insurance. You think you're covered, but are you really? With insurance, or as we call it, instance, you're double covered. It's like an extra layer of protection you didn't know you needed, like the ozone layer, and you'll miss it when it's gone. The way Instance works is like this. For a nominal monthly fee, you get complete insurance. So in case one of your other insurances lapses, or the payment isn't kicking in, or your coverage is insufficient, you get an immediate Instance notification sent to all your devices, cell phone, laptop, fax, pager, abacus, and more, where you'll be informed that you're screwed. Don't wait to find out that you're screwed. Find out now with Instance. Go to insurance_raverglowstick.net. Insurance. From the makers of Outsurance. Thank you. We thank them for being a sponsor, not our sponsor, but a sponsor.
Thanks. And what a fine sponsor they may be to anyone else.
To someone.
Yeah, not necessarily us.
Should I do that one again, or was that fine the way it was?
No, it was funny because you cracked me.
Okay, good.
Do I have to edit this part out now? Is this meta? Oh, fuck. It's going to be a thing. I
don't know.
Oh, shit. Oh.
And now, back to our show.
What a bunch of dick. Well, thank you for that, and I'll definitely give Vincent. Damn it. See now. Oh, so this is going to be the show.
That's a good product, Bob. Get out there, get you some insurance, or double insurance squared. Get on that, buddy.
I'm on it.
Okay, good.
What would it take? Oh my goodness!
I think it's probably time for my favorite part of the show, which is Bob reviews a movie.
Popcorn and previews, movies and reviews at the theater.
Jesse, I think you could take a wild guess what I'm reviewing today. I have a need, Jesse. I have a need for better movies.
I'm excited because I had no idea that you had never seen this movie before. And it's got just such a famous jeans wearing volleyball scene. So I figured, this is going to be a big one. This was a big movie from the 80s. And the question is, how does it carry over to these modern times that we're living in these days?
It definitely breaks new records, and I think broke new ground and set new standards for one of the sweatiest films of all time. We are talking about Top Gun. And I'm going to review Top Gun. But before I do, Jess, here's something that didn't occur to me until I was watching Top Gun.
Yeah.
Do you know how I had told you previously I've never seen this film before?
Yeah.
Well, apparently, I've actually seen half the film recently and forgot about it. I was in a hotel in Birmingham, Alabama, driving from Myrtle Beach to here, moving across the country. And on the first night, you have your TV and 6 stations and very limited options. Apparently, in last November, I actually watched the first half of Top Gun and had no recollection of it until I started watching Top Gun. And wow. I must not have cared enough to finish watching Top Gun.
Let's talk about the impression.
Let's do a review / summary here. And again, these are all spoiled. This is not a new movie.
Right.
1985.
Before giving a good review, it's good to have a good synopsis. So now we know what we're working with. And plus, I haven't seen it in forever, so it'll be good to summarize.
Okay. Well, Here we go. Let's engage thrusters and boostings and eject or whatever. I should have, if it was not digital, I would have ejected it out of machine and tossed it across the floor. Let's talk about Top Gun. Okay, we open up Top Gun. Apparently, we are in a war, but we don't decide to name what country we are warring with. We are just at a war with a bad guy, and this bad guy is about to shoot a member of Tom Cruise's unit. And the planes take off of the aircraft carrier, and the one guy is about to get shot, and he's frozen and he's panicking, and you feel very bad for him. Of course, this is not your main character, your Tom Cruise Maverick, the character, because as such in these 80s films, the main character is he has no flaws. He is awesome at everything, and if he gets remotely sad for a minute about behaving badly, we must feel bad for him for whatever the reason. So the guy's panicking, and Tom Cruise and his friend Goose, because the sidekick has to have a stupid name to make Maverick cooler. They decide to fly upside down over the bad guy jet, and then Maverick looks eyeball to eyeball with this enemy of the state. We don't know which state, but Maverick is eyeball to eyeball to him, a few thousand feet in the air. A few feet away, jet to jet, one's upside down, the other one is flying at regular, not upside down. And what does he do to the enemy who's trying to kill his friend? He gives him the finger. Doesn't shoot him, showed him, taught him a lesson. And then the Maverick and his friend Goose are ordered to fly back, but Maverick doesn't play by the rules. He doesn't play by any rules because he lands, but then he takes right back off the aircraft carrier again, which I don't think he can do. And then he goes and then he flies next to the guy who's having a panic attack, right? He flies next to him and he guides him, and somehow I think he makes the wings touch or something, and he guides him back into I don't know how the hell he does it. But anyway, he gets the guy back, and the whole time, more sweaty guys are yelling into the headphone at the sweaty guys in the planes, and the sweat is just flying, and everyone's dehydrated, and the guy is bald, and what the hell was he in? He looks like I think he was the principal who hated Marty McFly in Back to the Future. I'm just thinking, that guy. He's really angry. Right. And here's the thing. So Maverick and Goose gets down, and the principal from Marty McFly's school, he starts yelling at him. But the thing is, we find out he's not much of an authority for it figure, because the guy's like 4'8", right? And no one in the film thought this was a good idea, but they had to find the shortest possible guy to yell at Tom Cruise without being taller than Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise
is like 5'7".
So they had to rescale the height of everyone else in the film because Tom Cruise is 5'2", and so he's yelling. And here's what I noticed: they'll say shit and they'll say bitch, but they don't say ass. I think they say fuck once or twice, but they say butts every time. Butts. And it is so not intimidating when your drill sergeant or whatever your military superior is, I don't know the thing, is yelling, "You better get your butts in line, and I'm gonna have your butts, and I'm sick." And he just says it way too many times. "I'm sick of your butts." And then they walk away, and you hear him go, "I'm gonna have those butts," and you can't take him seriously, and everyone's just sweaty. So to punish Maverick and Goose for disobeying orders, they send them to a special school called Top Gun. To punish them, they send them to a special school for awesome pilot guys and to teach them a lesson, right? And then Maverick's sitting there, and he's all cocky, and him and Goose are doing the whispering thing, like during while the other people are talking, but that's kind of stupid because they're not whispering at all. They're just going like this and then talking loudly, like something, butts, I'm sweaty, butts, sweaty, butts. I don't know what they're saying. I forget, and it's been a few days. But anyway, there's this dude named Val Kilmer, and there's this dude named Ice, and who cares? And like okay, in the first not good Batman, he's in there, and he's got blonde hair, and everyone knows that he does like the biting thing, like this thing. I don't want to do it; I'll break my teeth. But that's nowhere near the dumbest part of the movie. It's just the part that they play when unfunny people need something to make fun of on VH1. But that part isn't nearly as ridiculous as other parts in the movie, because Ice doesn't like Maverick, because Ice likes to be the best pilot, And also Maverick doesn't play by the rules, and that endangers the safety of other people, and he doesn't want anyone to get killed. And the bad guy's point of view actually makes perfect sense. So he's unhappy with Maverick. So the way they decide who the best at flying planes is they have a shirtless volleyball game in jeans, and the sweat is flying and everyone's happy. But wait a minute, I jumped the gun. I jumped the top gun because before the volleyball thing, again, it's been a while, Goose and Maverick, they go to a bar and they see all these hot women and they ignore them when Kelly McGinnis shows up. Or whatever her name is, McGillis. Who the hell cares? Yeah. No one cares. And then she goes in, and then Maverick decides, this is my move. You know what my move is? I'm gonna just start singing karaoke in a bar that isn't playing karaoke right now. and he gets on a thing, and because they're making a bet on which woman they could have sex with, like in the venue for whatever reason, because these are the good guys, right?
Yeah.
And then it's a $20 bet, and he says, Goose, I think she lost that love and feeling. And Goose is like, oh no, no, anything but that. Anything but the thing you're clearly about to do. Don't tell me she's lost love and feeling. I think she's lost the love and feeling. I'm 5'2". And then he takes the microphone, and somehow it's on and the batteries are working because no one knows how like music venues work. And then the Goose is like, not the love and feeling. And then Maverick's like, more than a woman. No, I'm just kidding. He's like, you've lost that love, and you never hold your eyes and the close and the lips and the whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. And he starts singing, and she doesn't look very amused. And then she turns him down, and she tells him like she's not going to have relations with him, with the genital and the nudity and the thrusting and the climax resulting for one of them. And then she goes into the bathroom because she's got biological functions like the rest of us. And then he follows her into the ladies' room, and everyone's just cool. She doesn't even freak out. Like, what are you doing? He's like, no, you don't understand. Like, I always got to like get what I want. And she's like now feeling bad for him that she turned him down for not having sex with him, for singing like unwarranted karaoke at her and embarrassing her in front of the thing. And then the next morning they have a meeting, and they meet the new civilian physician or whatever, or aerodynamics professor that tells them how to fly these new planes. And of course it's her, and she's looking at him, and she corrects him in front of the class because he didn't know what he was talking about. So he gets butthurt, and he has a motorcycle, and she starts trying to talk to him, but he just keeps revving a motorcycle and being rude to her. Like, and then he drives off, and she chases after him. And for some reason, he's the good guy here. And she chases after him, and she drives through traffic and almost gets herself killed trying to apologize to a guy that she rightfully corrected because that was her job. And she's just trying to keep people not dead, right? but that leads to a volleyball game. And then the good guys are sort of winning, but then not Tom Hanks, Jesus Christ, Tom Cruise. That'd be great if Tom Hanks just shows up and he starts talking to the volleyball, and it's all connected, man. So
better movie.
Man, I would have. The argument would be graceful. And so Tom Cruise, he has a date naturally with the physics lady, because why wouldn't she go out with the guy who went to the ladies' room and did unwarranted karaoke and cries if you correct him when he's trying to embarrass you in front of the military? I don't know. And then the new military boss is played by the same guy who played Robin Colcord in Cheers that Rebecca Howe was in love with. I forget the guy's name, not important right now. So he meets the Kelly McGillis at her house, right? I don't remember her name, anything. And this is really weird, and everyone thought this was cool. He's at her house for the first time ever, right? And he just says, "I want to go take a shower."
Yeah, what the fuck?
You're a guest at her home. It's not even like you know her, you've been there, you've been a guest before. He doesn't ask, which is still weird to ask. He says, I'm going to go. And she goes, no, you're not. I'm hungry. And then they eat. And later he's like, I'm going to have that shower now. And he does. And there's no like weird sexual nudity thing that happens. He just takes the shower. So it was just a weird dominance thing. And then him and Goose, they fly, and they ignored some orders, and they got in trouble from Robin Colcord. And then they fly again, and something went crazy wrong, and the plane spirals out of control, and Goose dies. He's not alive anymore. He's dead. But I get the shit out of order. But like before Goose dies, we meet Meg Ryan, who doesn't know why she's in this movie, but she's got a Southern accent, and she's the only likable human being in this movie whatsoever. But then you see Meg Ryan again, and she's very upset because she didn't get the email because it's 1985. And then she's very upset because now Tom Cruise, she he kills her boyfriend in the plane, but everyone made it very clear because he can't have any faults that it wasn't Tom Cruise's fault. It was a freak malfunction or whatever, but Tom Cruise blames himself. Maverick blames himself, and Ice finally says, I'm sorry about Goose. We all liked him, yada, yada, yada. We liked playing him in shirtless, sweaty volleyball. Even though we all hated each other over who was the best pilot for some reason that we can't explain except to impress Robin Colcord from Cheers. And then finally, Tom Cruise quits and he's about to say goodbye to he's not about to say goodbye. He's getting drunk and he's about to leave without saying goodbye to Kelly McGillis. But then she takes a promotion and leaves, and they have a bad leaving breakup thing. But before Tom Cruise can leave town, he shows up at Robin Colcord's house, and Colcord tells him classified information, and I want you to show up at the graduation anyway. And that's when so I think Tom Cruise goes back to the bar, and then all of a sudden that stupid Righteous Brothers song starts playing, and I think it's like he starts playing, and she doesn't sing it, which I thought was going to happen. I thought she was going to have the microphone this time, but apparently she doesn't lip sync as good as Tom Cruise, so she can't do that. And now they're back together, and he graduates, and him and Ice agree they're going to like fly up together, or no, Colcord flies with Tom Cruise, and Ice is going to fly with Ice's buddy. I forget his name. So they're going to each be in two planes, and then they have to go back to this area for some reason and fly against the other member of in the war, the country, the guy who's from a country that we don't know, that they never name, that we're at war with. Because here's the thing: Rocky IV just came out like the year before, and they don't want to say Russians, so they just like the enemy, and like you never hear like the accent of the. It's just a guy in a mask just flying, or like this is the guy, and eventually they yeah, exactly. So I think the Russian guy blows up. No one gives a fuck or whatever. And then finally they get out of the plane, and Ice, he shakes Tom Cruise's hand, and they're not about to shake. They're like, it's like this. It's like the Mega Powers with Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man aren't sure if they're friends yet, and they take their time and they're like, yeah, it's all the power, right? But that's how Tom Cruise and Ice do it. And then Ice looks at Maverick and he says, "I'll fly with you any day." And I go, "That's okay, cool." But that's a little weird. And everyone is very sweaty. And then they play that song, that goddamn miserable fucking song that everyone starts singing, even if they haven't watched a film in forever and 30 years. This song is the reason people think they like this movie. They fly off, and at the end credits, you hear, "Eye of the tiger and the thrill of the thing and the stuff and the place and 9/11," or whatever the fuck the lyrics are. And they play that song at the end of it. And that, my friend, is Top Gun.
Wow. That is an amazing synopsis. And now, if you don't mind, if you could give us your overall review of the film Top Gun.
With all of its flaws considered,
Yeah.
taking into account everything I've said, good
Right,
and
the
bad.
Like you hated it.
Yes.
Okay.
With that said, arguably,
Yeah.
the greatest film ever made.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Mind blown. I had no inkling that was coming. Incredible review and synopsis. Thank you so much for that, Bob. And for all the people that haven't seen Top Gun, now you have, especially the best parts of it, or the least relevant parts probably. But that was fantastic. And we want to thank everyone for watching Beachtown Podcast. We're just on YouTube for right now, but eventually we'll be
it's coming.
It's coming. It's
An
coming.
audio thing is coming. This is probably more fun to watch. Now we have a YouTube show, but yeah, we will. Like an audio will happen. Definitely find the Twitter when you want to check on new episodes. At Beachtown Comedy is the Twitter. I am at Bob Hanson Jokes. I'm going to put these things up. I'll leave the Beachtown one up. But find us on, just subscribe and hit like, and it helps the numbers. And you could tell people, hopefully, hey, these guys, they're trying to help, or at least you're not the only ones that have lost your loving feeling. There are others as well.
Yeah, if anybody is feeling down or sad or depressed or anything like this, maybe pass on our podcast, and hopefully we won't make it worse.
Yeah, just hopefully this isn't rubbing it in.
Yeah.
But Jesse, where can they find you?
They can find me at Jesse Egan Comedy on all social media, and If you get a chance, please like and subscribe to this as well as my other podcast, Awful Neutral. It's a comedy Dungeons and Dragons podcast, and it's a lot of fun too. And there's a lot of great comedians on that one, and eventually we'll get Bob on there to
Yes.
play something. So,
and forgive me, I forgot. For the wrestling people, hardest part of the ring for is the podcast and the YouTube videos as well. And for the G.I. Joe people, just type in Sun Bob Productions or Sun Bob G.I. Joe into YouTube and my channel. It's all on the same channel. So there's links and everywhere. Blah 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 blah. Find those things. Rock out to some Iron Maiden. And I think we're out of the danger zone.
Yeah, that's true. We rode that highway, but thank you guys so much for watching and supporting Beachtown Podcast. Be sweet to each other, and we love you guys. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.